Breaking news! Major shakeups are brewing in the heart of South Florida, and what's happening inside the Miami Dolphins facility could change everything for the 2025 season. I've been digging into the latest roster moves, and let me tell you, something big is coming. The kind of changes that don't just tweak the team, they define its future. And while some fans are holding on to hope, others are starting to get nervous. Real nervous. Because the more you look at these decisions, the clearer it becomes. Miami is either about to rise or unravel. And let's get something out of the way right now. Chris Grier should have been fired long ago, yet somehow he's still calling the shots. You can feel it, right? That mix of anticipation and anxiety? The Dolphins are one or two smart or catastrophic moves away from changing the course of this franchise. The Super Bowl window is there, but it won't stay open forever. So stick with me, because what I'm about to reveal about the depth chart, the coaching staff, and the high-stakes battles unfolding this offseason is going to blow your mind. But before we go any further, if you bleed aqua and orange like I do, smash that like button and show some love in the comments with Go Dolphins. We can make it to the Super Bowl. Now let's get into it, because what I've uncovered about the 2025 Miami Dolphins could be the turning point we've all been waiting for. Now, let's get into it because the Dolphins are not sitting still. One of the most dramatic and potentially game-changing shifts? Special teams. It's been a disaster for 3 straight years. Fourth worst, second worst, unacceptable. Mike McDaniel isn't to blame directly, he's focused on offense, but that doesn't change the results. Finally, a spark of hope. The arrival of Craig Ehrman as special teams coordinator. He's got history with Ryan Stonehouse, who's now our punter and once set an NFL record for punt yardage as a rookie. It's about time we cleaned up this unit. The fact that Jake Bailey is still on the roster is baffling. Cut him, save the $1.9 million, and get serious. Miami's looking at possibly $26 million in cap space post June 1st, especially if the Jalen Ramsey trade goes through as expected. This team could finally start making smart moves if someone just has the guts to pull the trigger. Switching over to offense, there's continuity, yes, but also bold moves where it counts. Running back, Devin Achane remains RB1, no question. But behind him, it's a full-on reboot. Jalen Wright, who only got 68 carries last season, is poised for a breakout. Miami clearly has a vision. Remember, they traded up to grab him in the draft. He's got the speed, the vision, and now the opportunity. Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson? Gone. Alexander Madison has been brought in to grind short yardage situations, and the bruiser Ollie Gore will look to develop behind them. There's potential for Wright to hit over 500 yards this year. You feel that energy? Because this backfield could be dangerous. Let's talk wide receivers. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are locked in, unless, of course, Grier does something reckless like trade Hill, which honestly wouldn't shock me. But the real surprise is the likely WR3, Nick Westbrook-Akine. Signed for 2 years, $6 million. He's a big-bodied target with red zone ability. And yes, he can block on the perimeter, which is exactly what Miami's scheme demands. Malik Washington could get snaps in the slot, but don't be surprised if NWI becomes a bigger piece of the offense than expected. Tight ends? Minimal changes. Durham Smythe is out. Jonnu Smith and Julian Hill are the top 2 heading into 2025. Smith already broke single-season tight end records for Miami, and Hill brings blocking ability. It's not flashy, but it's solid. But where things truly get wild, the offensive line. Dolphins fans have begged for change here, and for once, the front office delivered. Gone are Terron Armstead, Robert Jones, and Liam Eichenberg. And come Patrick Paul at left tackle, James Daniels, and Savion Savinia. Daniels signed a $24 million deal, and Miami even traded up to get Nia. This is no minor shuffle, it's a transformation. Aaron Brewer is back at center and should only get better in year 2. Austin Jackson returns at right tackle, and if he stays healthy, this could be Miami's most stable line in years. You might think losing Armstead is a step back, but Patrick Paul could surprise everyone. If he develops fast, we're looking at a young, powerful offensive line that finally gives Tua Tagovailoa the protection he's been craving. This could be the missing piece. Now for the defense. The changes are massive. Only 4 key contributors are returning. Zach Sealer, Jordan Brooks, Chop Robinson, and Kader Kohu. That's it. New faces are everywhere else, starting with the defensive line. Kenneth Grant, Jordan Phillips, and Zeke Biggers, 3 rookies with high upside, are being counted on to fill gaps left by Calais Campbell and Deshaun Hand. It's a big ask. If these guys don't step up, the D-line could be a weak link, but the potential is exciting. Grant looks like a day-one impact guy, and Phillips could rotate in effectively. Now here's where things really heat up, the edge trio. Chop Robinson, Jalen Phillips, and Bradley Chubb. If, and it's a big if, they all stay healthy, this could be the best edge group in the entire NFL. Phillips is aiming to return by week 1 after his ACL tear, and Chubb should be ready after recovering from his own brutal knee injuries. If this trio clicks, opposing quarterbacks better watch out. Add in Sealer and Grant, and this pass rush could dominate. Linebackers remain mostly the same. Jordan Brooks and Tyrell Dodson will start again, and new backups like KJ Britt and Willie Gay Jr. replace the outgoing rotation. Not much drama here, but stability isn't a bad thing. Where things are chaos, the secondary. Outside of Kohu, there are zero guarantees. The cornerback room is wide open. Storm Duck, Cam Smith, maybe they step up, or maybe the Dolphins are forced to make a trade. Safeties, total mystery. Could be the free agent signings of Fida Melifonwo and Ashton Davis, or rookies Dante Trader Jr. and Patrick McMorris. Who starts week 1 in Indy? Your guess is as good as mine. And that brings us to the most burning question right now / who will be the starting 5 in Miami's secondary come week 1? Because this is the group that could either elevate the defense to top-tier status or sink it completely. Will Miami's secondary step up or will it crumble under pressure? That's the million-dollar question hanging over this roster right now. Because let's be honest, defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver is entering his second year, and he's got some serious tools to work with in the front 7. But all of that pressure, all that potential from the edge rushers and defensive line, it won't matter one bit if the coverage behind them is full of holes. Kader Kohu is the only sure bet. Beyond that, it's a complete gamble. And this is where the frustration starts to build. Chris Grier, again, left this room bare. You can't head into a season relying on unproven names like Storm Duck and Cam Smith without a contingency plan. These are not household names. They're not battle-tested. Miami needs more than hope. They need proven talent, or at the very least, fierce camp competition. But so far, Grier hasn't delivered. Fans have been pleading for cornerback reinforcements, especially after trading away Jalen Ramsey. And if nothing major happens before week 1, Dolphins fans, buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride. Now let's dive back into the safeties, because this group is just as unsettled. An intriguing mix of vets and youth. Fida Melifonwo and Ashton Davis were signed in free agency, bringing experience but not much star power. Rookie Dante Trader Jr. and second-year man Patrick McMorris bring the hunger, but can they handle NFL speed? Can they make reads in real time and hold their own against top-tier receivers and tight ends? It's anyone's guess, and this kind of uncertainty is what keeps coaches up at night. There's a scenario where this secondary surprises everyone. Maybe Trader Jr. shines in camp. Maybe McMorris takes a leap. Maybe Melifonwo finally puts it all together. But relying on that many maybes is risky, and that's what makes this the #1 talking point for the rest of the offseason. Training camp, mini camps, preseason, every snap, every rep will matter for these DBs, because whoever steps up will shape the identity of this defense. Now zooming out a bit, what's the big picture here? This team is banking heavily on development. The 2025 Miami Dolphins aren't just hoping to make a playoff run, they're trying to thread the needle between competing now and building something sustainable. Offensively, the core is in place. Tua, Hill, Waddle, a chain. You've got explosive playmakers and now, finally, an offensive line that might hold its own. That alone makes this unit scary. Defensively, though, the Dolphins are betting on youth and upside, and that's a bet that could pay off big or blow up in their faces. The edge group is elite on paper, the D-line has raw strength and character, and the linebacker duo of Brooks and Dodson is solid. But unless the secondary holds strong, it might not be enough. This team will only go as far as that defense can take them in key games against Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow,